Good evening, everyone. We welcome you to this webinar on the topic MBA in the post-pandemic era, accelerate your career growth. Joining us today is our special guest for the evening, Dr. Pratima Sheorey, Director of SCMHRD. Dr. Pratima Sheorey has an MBA in marketing from the University of Pune and a PhD from Symbiosis International University. She has more than 25 years of experience in the academic and corporate sectors. She has worked with AC Nielsen, the Hero Group, and others in the corporate sector, and has been a faculty at various institutes of Symbiosis International University. She has also worked in the area of market research, training and consulting, and business development. Dr. Pratima has trained executives in many organizations in India and abroad in various behavioral and functional programs like service orientation, selling skills, creativity and innovation, etc. across various business levels. She has been instrumental in guiding her students in various national and international student competitions where they have won accolades for the institution. She has started on this journey of quality assurance in the year 2012 when SCMHRD took membership of AACSP accreditation. Since then, she has steered the process to completion with the help of a well-balanced team. Her interests include customer engagement, digital marketing, and education management. It is truly a pleasure to have you with us during this session, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Before we can begin with the session, we just have a small note to the aspirants. Any query they have regarding any doubts they want to ask, they can put it in the chat box and we'll try our best to answer them throughout the session. With that being said, we can start off the webinar.
So to start off the discussion, ma'am, our first question for the day would be, because of the pandemic, there has been a massive shift in the way the industry is functioning. So the requirements of the industry have changed. So in your opinion, how important is it for everyone to reskill and upskill oneself regularly?
So thank you, Anirudh. Warm welcome to everybody who's joined this webinar or is viewing it. Why is it important to upskill, reskill, and keep skilling? Now, one of the key things when the industry is looking at today, so, technical disruption is one of the biggest disruptors of the current times. Okay, what we thought was impossible, not doable, difficult, has been clearly and greatly enabled by the tectonic shifts that have occurred within the technology sector. That being said, the pandemic has also forced us to depend on technology. So a lot of the students are, all of you, I'm sure, are studying online, are giving your exams online. There is, people are even working, work from home and all of these kind of things. So the whole dynamics of the way we study, we work, and we go about our lives and our business has changed. Now, in a changed situation, what worked in the past will not work in the future. It's as simple. You are looking at a changed paradigm, changed panorama, and for that changed panorama, whatever is needed at that point in time, you will have to acquire that skill of necessity. Okay, and skilling, so which means, let's say, 3-4 years ago, it was just important to understand how social media and data could be best leveraged. Today, analyzing the data in front of the manager is become very, very clear and very, very important. Okay, so just from simply understanding to actually doing is the changed skill requirement, okay, which is needed. So you need to keep reskilling. See, skill, once you acquire a certain skill, including knowledge, okay, it can't stay constant. It will change, it will upgrade, it will become different, it will become new. Now, in that new and changed circumstance, whatever is the next level of skill, you need to acquire. So just because you did an MBA or your undergraduate, whatever it may be, your learning should never stop. The day your learning stops, your growth will stop. You will hit a ceiling. Okay. If you want to break out of that ceiling, skilling is the need of the hour. And if you've done your, so for example, for those that have done their MBA 5 years ago, today, the skill requirement is different. Okay. So if you don't skill yourself, I think you're just not going to go ahead further. So any good program should be able to give you contemporary skills, should be able to provide you access to practice, put those things in practice. And most importantly, each one of you should have a mindset of a learner. Just because you did your degree exam, khatam ho gaya, you know, the learning stops. No, not really. Okay. Learning continues in different ways. And, you know, you can acquire the certifications, you can acquire the knowledge, you can learn from your experience. That is entirely your lookout. But, you know, every time you learn something, how will you actually implement it is something you need to understand at your level. So skilling, very crucial. And I think, you know, if you look at the current times, the way the velocity of change has accelerated beyond our imaginations. Okay. So every year you will have to ensure that you know what's happening. And if there is something you need to learn, because the next, the batch junior to you would be smarter than you and would beat you. Okay. So there is no longer, because you've spent 20 years in a place, you will be the CEO or the general manager or whatever, director, right? If you don't keep pace, then somebody half your age may become your boss. So you should be prepared for that. Have I answered your question, Anirudh?
Absolutely, ma'am. That is so true. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for the answer. You were speaking about the tangible shift in the pace of the world today. Based on that, can you shed some light on what SCMHRD is doing to tailor these students for the specific needs of the corporate in the current world?
So, what all is SCMHRD doing? The first and foremost is that we've got what we call as the flexi credits in every semester. So let's say, you know, we've kept that space in our curriculum such that, so for example, the program structure for the batch of 22-24 is already formalized. Okay. Now, as we speak, because that's what a lot of students are going to look at when they make a selection, when they make a choice. So it's a decision criteria and therefore it is put up. However, by the time the batch joins and there is newer developments in the field, okay, then those need to be taught. Somebody is, can you mute the people? You know. Yeah, okay. So in that case, what happens is we keep spot for what we call as flexi credits. Okay. And those flexi credits enable us to introduce subjects which are state of the art, latest things that have to be learned by the students. So on the curriculum side, we are doing three things. One is keeping space for flexi credits. Two is all the students get access to Coursera. Complete access to Coursera. So over and above the subjects that they are learning, they can actually go on to Coursera and learn subjects of their choice from some of the best institutions across the world. Okay, so that's an added facility. There's more than 4,000 courses there, right? Everything from music to analytics, to finance, to languages, whatever you may want. Today, you know, the MBA degree has everything to do with having somebody who understands not just how to balance income and expense, but balance people. understand the cultural milieu in which they are living, understand that, sustainability, governance, green, all of that is important. So all of those courses they have access to. In addition, SCMHRD also has what they call as the audit courses. Audit courses is, I have, as part of my curriculum, I'm required to do, let's say, 12, 15 subjects in a semester. But, in that infrastructure program that we have, there is a very interesting course on tendering, bidding, and contracting. And I'm very interested as a finance student. So I can actually go and attend that course, okay, give all the internal assessment for it according to my schedule, because we have a packed schedule for all students, especially in the first 2 semesters. But I can attend these courses. I can make time for it. And those audit courses, a percentage of them comes up on the transcript. What cannot come up on the transcript, we will give separate certificates for that. So we've got students who want to do all this additional learning. Now, this is as far as teaching learning is concerned. As far as practical experience is concerned, each of the students at SCMHRD, over and above the summer internship, is doing a minimum of 2 live projects during semester. Okay, which means whatever they are learning, they are also implementing on a live problem with an organization, either remotely or in person. Okay. Last year, of course, all of it was remote, but on an average, every student who's also involved in all these other activities, like being in the placement committee or admissions committee or in NEEB or whole bunch of other committees that we have, everybody does at least 1 or 2 additional projects over and above the summer internship. So to keep up to date, up to speed, as far as learning is concerned and as far as implementation is concerned, these are all the things that we are doing. And of course, if you're here, if you talk to your faculty, you talk to your friends, peer learning is one of the most crucial and important things. Of course, whatever is the latest practice from the industry. So we have a whole lot of leadership talks. We have the alumni coming and interacting and speaking with the students, which gives the students a direct idea of what is happening in the field, in the corporate, in the real world. And therefore, what more should they learn? What more should they understand? Right? So I learn, I practice, and I also try and speak with or listen to people from outside to try and see how it works. And these people are not just from India, but even from abroad. Thankfully, one of the good things that has happened on account of the pandemic is that people are a lot more open to virtual sessions. So we've got a whole bunch of alumni sitting abroad and corporates and faculty from some of the best business schools across the world speaking to our students. So yes, all of these things we are doing for our students right now.
Yes, man, I'm pretty sure everyone is very excited after hearing all of that. This is more than anyone can take that SCMHRD offers to each of us. Kicking it up a notch, and SCMHRD has always envisioned producing global leaders. So on that front, ma'am, how has the foreign student exchange program helped the students of SCMHRD?
So last year, of course, largely we were virtual, but every year we have a bunch of students coming in. So as per the Supreme Court guidelines, 15% of the total intake is international students. And of course, from our neighborhood and some from Europe. We've, last year, a batch of girls from Afghanistan also passed out. So in addition to this, there is summer programs with universities in Europe. We've got very good contacts and connects with Europe and with Australia in particular. And we've got students coming in from there over here. We've also got outbound students going from here for summer exchange programs. to Leeds, to London School of Economics, to Berlin School of Economics and Law, then to Telecom Ecole, which is School of Mines, one of the oldest institutions in Europe. So there's a whole bunch of institutions that we have a tie-up with, and having student exchange has helped us. We also have faculty exchange. So we have faculty coming in from abroad, coming and teaching our students. We've got our faculty traveling abroad and teaching students there. Of course, last year, all of this was virtual, but hopefully by next year, July, August, we'll be able to commence it back again. We've got a couple of our students currently in France, in Germany, okay, who are on a exchange program, on a scholarship, on a DAD scholarship, which means they have to only take care of their travel, the tuition, etc., is taken care of by the scholarship funds. So this kind of an exchange, and like I said before, corporates and also alumni who are abroad, all of them interact with our students at different points in time. So, these are some of the things that we are doing. So international exchange, international student exchange, international faculty exchange, then having people who worked abroad, studied abroad, come and work over here. In addition, we've also got our students doing research and publishing those on in international forum, in international journals, etc. So understanding what works, because publishing in international journals is not easy. And there's a fair amount of work and rework that the students have to do to fall in line with what is the international requirement. So where teaching, learning, pedagogy, interaction, at all these levels, we're trying to help build the global and regional competencies.
Thank you, ma'am. That answers a lot. One frequent query we get is, how has SCMHRD fared in this pandemic scenario in the arena of academics as well as placements, ma'am?
Good question. Yeah, I think a lot of things. First 1 month in 2020 in March, when we were, by March 2020, the placement was complete. It was a fabulous placement year. And so we got done very, very quickly. In March, when we locked down, first time when the government locked down, 19th or 20th, 22nd onwards is when the lockdown happened. We were yet pending taking the final semester exams, right? But I think about a month is the time we took and we got back on track, right? So everything is being done virtually right now, including internships, including placements. The current season of placements has been fabulous. I think the new year is truly going to be good for the batch of 22, and the batch of 22 is from national to domestic, international placements. I think the average package has gone up as far as placements is concerned. The highest package has gone up, and I'm speaking across the board for all programs, all the 3 programs, okay? And all the 3 programs of placements have been fabulous. In fact, we have a happy problem now where we have companies, but we don't have students. So I don't know if that is happy enough. Next year, those companies should feel that they'll get the students or not get students or whatever. So, but it's a nice place to be in. It feels great when students have, this batch that is passing out in 22 joined virtually. So for us, it's a special batch. Some of them are back on campus because the government has permitted reopening of campuses with students who are vaccinated twice. And so we do have some students here, but placements have been great. Learning has, we've readjusted, realigned a bit, given the fact that there's going to be a virtual session, given the fact that, people are going to be on mute and camera off, so we don't know who's on the other side. So in all of this challenging times, I think we've adapted and the students have adapted as well. So if they hadn't learned well, if they hadn't performed well in the interview, the placements wouldn't have happened. So I think it has everything to do with while, we do our level best. If if you have 100 hours time, or you have 24 hours in a day, we will pack 18 hours out of that with work to do. Right? But I think SCMHRD students have always risen to the challenge, and they've gone beyond those 18 hours, and they've studied, they've worked, they've had fun, they've enjoyed what they're doing, they've participated in a lot of activities. So admissions and placements is a very, very student-driven process at SCMHRD. So no, it's a good bunch of kids we have. Not kids, adults. I mean, they're older, much older now. The average age is higher, but I think we're doing really well.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, your words have definitely cleared all the doubts and apprehensions when it comes to academics and placements in a virtual scenario for a lot of people now. So we'll take, ma'am, questions from the audience. So the first question which we have is, it's a two-part question from Arindam. He asks, how is the GPAI process? Is it going to be online? And the second part of the question is, what is SCMHRD looking for in a candidate?
Yes, this year also the process is going to be virtual. The campus that you see behind me is the beautiful campus that we have. Of course, that's only the academic block. But yes, because of the Omicron scare now, we are going to conduct the process virtually as of now. The admission process at SCMHRD, I can wager it is one of the best in the country. Best designed, best arranged, best managed, and they make each and every one of the people that go through the process, they make each one of them feel special. Okay, I think the way you will get treated at SCMHRD will hardly get treated that well at any other place. We try and do the best that we can. Okay. In fact, till the time the process was, even when the process is virtual, we track the time. From the time you log in to the time you log out, we want that time to be the least number of transactions, minimum number of transactions, minimum number of movement, and that you smoothly go through the whole process in as less time as possible. So make it easier and better. And of course, the process is extremely fair. So that's one. What do we expect? We just want you to be at your sincere best. This is your life. This is something that you want to do well at. The MBA is the MBA, especially at SCMHRD, is a short gateway to get, start off at a good level, whether you want to start your own business, run your family business, or join a job, whatever you wish to do. Your entry into the corporate, it gives you a very, very good starting point. But it's how much you invest in yourself. We want you to be able to learn from everything that you will get at you. Roll up your sleeves and be ready to work. Don't have an attitude. Okay. Attitude doesn't take you very far. The people who are right at the top, who become big, who become great, don't need attitude. Be willing to do anything and everything that is required. If it means studying more, if it means getting along with people, if it means forging new partnerships, if it means going out and meeting people, asking all the right kind of questions, doing everything that is needed, trying to understand how can I do my job better. It's not siloed. Don't be siloed. Okay, so if you have the desire to learn, if you have the desire to excel, if you are willing to take responsibility for yourself, if you feel that I'm the master of my fate, captain of my ship, if you can just be better for yourself, and believe me, today nobody works alone. Okay, you're as good as your team, no matter how high up or how junior you are. If you can't work with a team, then there is no point. And of course, we look at your ability to look at a problem innovatively to come up with a solution. There are enough and more problems, but you need to come back to us with a solution. That is very, very crucial. Okay, of course, you need to know your basics, right? I mean, knowing your fundamentals, having the basic conceptual knowledge, it's for a premier institute like SCMHRD, that's the basic minimum. I don't even want to talk about it. That's something you should. No shortcuts though. Okay, if you want to take shortcuts, you will get caught out somewhere. So you may survive once, you may survive twice, but sometimes, sustained success is not by chance or by luck. Yeah? It's 90% hard work or more.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question from Ria Mallika is that, and a usual question from aspirants, is MBA in SCMHRD only HR? Can you dispel?
It's an MBA. So we have 3 MBAs. Okay, the first of the programs was started in '93. The first batch passed out in '95. That time it was a PGDM. Since 2006, it's become an MBA. So the difference is PGDM is a diploma, is a 2-year diploma, and the MBA is a degree. So you want to study abroad, you want to study further, you want to do a PhD or whatever, you need an MBA. So we've started giving an MBA since 2006, and we have all specializations. So HR, finance, operations, marketing, and HR and marketing are the biggest batches that we have, 100+ students there. But finance is also a very, very specialist batch that we have, because it's accredited or whatever by the CFA US, which means that 70% of the finance curriculum being currently taught at SCMHRD complies with the CFA US, okay, Chartered Financial Analyst. And we've got students get a concession to write the CFA exam, and we've got people who come in at level 1 and give the level 2, level 3. Of course, you have to practice for 3 years to get the charter. But the finance curriculum is fabulous. The operations guys are great. We started with an MBA in infrastructure development and management. It's my favorite program. I think they really add value to the country. And they've done some fabulous work with the smart city mission in the country. And that was started in 2011. First batch passed out in 2013. And the recent MBA in business analytics, first batch passed out in 19, but it's a roaring success. So no, we've got a whole bunch of specializations, from digital to physical to phygital, whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
But we special, the presumption that is it an HR college or no, we just like to look after people. And those people could be in HR, in marketing, in finance, in operations, infrastructure, analytics, anywhere. We like to look after people. So each one of the students coming out of SCMHRD would know how to deal with people. But it's not an MBA in HR, no.
Thank you for busting that myth, ma'am, again. There's a question from Pradyumna Katur. He wants to know more about the business analytics program offered by SCMHRD.
Pradyumna, what exactly do you want to know? I don't know, but it's something that is the need of the hour. You have a whole bunch of technical guys who are looking into, who are analytically proficient. Then you have a whole bunch of business guys. But the merger, the center point is where the business analytics programs is focused on, and it's doing really well. I mean, we have to seriously, the merit list hardly moves past the first, or goes on to the second. People that take admission, don't cancel, don't go. They all get placed. They do fabulously well. I don't know what you want to know. It's yes, it's a semi-technical course. So you will have to learn how to, presuming you know how to do a little bit of programming, largely engineers in this program, but others can also apply. I mean, today just about anybody is doing programming. So stats and programming is the basics over there. And of course, your ability to try and understand or an insight of the business based on the data that you see. So can the data tell a story? That's what it's specifically about. And there's a small technical test in addition to the SNAP test that is done. So SNAP is going to be, will account for 50% of the weightage when your score is computed. And then we will have a small test for the analytics batch separately, apart from the GPAI and the WAT. So there'll be two types of WAT for BA. So that's about the difference, but the program is doing really well. Currently, we have an intake of about 60, plus or minus the government regulated pieces that we have to take. But let's hope, I mean, maybe in a year or two, we may be able to add another division, but for now, it's one division, 60.
Ma'am, a follow-up question that has come up in the chat box is, what kind of experience is required for BA students, and is IT experience required for BA?
No, we just need 2 years experience. Okay, you need to have a minimum of 2 years experience post your completion of your graduation. That's because you need to understand business. It need not be coding experience or IT or whatever. No. Just you should have worked in the business to understand how generally business works. And then when you study the ways to manage the data and all of that, then you can put these two thoughts together, apart from the kind of information that is already the teaching, learning, pedagogy that is already there in the program. So, you're able to weave the whole piece through. That's about it. But let me tell you, the general experience, even for the MBA program, the core MBA program, it's about 18 months, which means, so engineer plus, and we've got just too many engineers around. I mean, this is my call out to all the guys and girls out there who are not engineers, to please come and join. We need more diversity. And today, diversity is not just about gender, because the gender diversity is fairly good, 35–40%. But as far as the basic specialization diversity is concerned, that's not really so good. So, we'd like to see more non-engineers. But it's amazing, some of the engineers can really think out of the box, can think differently. And I think that's what is most important. Have I answered the question?
Yes, ma'am.
I just saw a question pop up here and I'll answer it just by myself quickly.
Yes.
You do the core MBA, you will get just an MBA. That's what your degree will say. You do an MBA in business analytics, it will say MBA into bracket business analytics. Okay. You do an MBA in IDM, which is infrastructure development and management, it will say MBA in IDM. That's what it will say.
Ma'am, we have a question from Anurag Goel, and a lot of aspirants can can we help with this question, which is what does a premium B school like SCMHRD look out when a candidate comes for the admission process in an interview, and what advice would you have them for succeeding there?
I think this is a repeat, and I think I've answered that already. We want you to never give up learning, whether you join the MBA and even after. We want you to have a sense of dedication and sincerity with what you're doing. We want you to be sensitive to the changes around you, to the society around you. We want you to roll up your sleeves and be ready to work in whatever way possible. Be willing to understand and be willing to look beyond silos, and say that, okay, management is, so I may be specializing in HR or in marketing, but I need to understand how does the compensation for my team work. I need to understand, I need to have a finger on the financial feasibility of the project that I'm doing. I need to understand, how can I operationally align the project such that it gives me the best kind of return and that I'm able to look after the customer in the best possible way. So no silos, okay? You may specialize in one thing, but you need to understand everything that is there with a project, okay, or with a particular activity, and be willing to learn. I mean, don't acquire attitude. Don't be with a chip on the shoulder. Okay, there's always somebody else better than you in something, which means be willing to learn from that person and work with them. Teamwork, very, very crucial. Very crucial. You're as good as your team. Yeah, and what is the basis of giving the various specializations in MBA? No, we leave it to you. We help you. Right? There is no upper limit or lower limit in terms of who gets into what specialization. We allow you to choose.
One question we have from Simran is, will a gap year affect? And this is a question we always
provided you've been doing something in that gap year.
Yeah.
It may not be a job, but I hope you've just not sat at home and done nothing. What is it that you did? Something. You must have done something. Okay. You must have learned something. You must have, you've got a family business, done something like that. कुछ तो सीखा होगा. So talk about that.
Ma'am, probably the last two questions before we close the session for today. The first one would be, people want to know about the scholarships that they can avail after joining SCMHRD.
Okay, so the scholarships is, one is, the Snap Topper. So you get a scholarship for that. If you're from the IITs, NITs, IITs, then you get a scholarship on account of that. If you are a batch topper, semester topper, then you get, a scholarship or a fee concession for that. So these are all the things, plus whatever are the government scholarships. So for example, there is an NSP and a bunch of them. So we facilitate all of that such that you can apply for those and get those scholarships. More than, I would feel that 15, 20 students every batch, or more than that, more than a couple of dozen students get some kind of scholarship or the other. Some of them are our own, and a lot of them are offered by governments and other agencies, and we connect you to those.
Okay, ma'am. One last question. Shashwat has, will internships and freelancing count as their work experience?
For BA, no. Freelancing, no. We need a clear-cut work experience certificate, okay? And it can't say that you freelanced. But the experience will help you overall, right? Freelancing work, even the companies, when they ask for prior experience, it will not work over there as well, because it's about the experience. But I presume when you walk into an interview, If you can bring your experience to bear in your conversation, connect the concept in management to your experience and what you've learned, and speak about that, I think that's one of the biggest winners. Yeah. So yes, in that sense, it definitely does help.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering all the questions. There are more questions that are popping, but we will take up all
what will
these
be the
questions.
core cutoff and whatever? Cutoff is very high, right? So study hard. That's the reason why, previously SCMHRD used to have the registration for SCMHRD close one day before snap. And, since we believe in not stressing the aspirants when we are interviewing, we truly want to understand who you are, really who you are. And then hopefully the process that you'll go through at SCMHRD over 2 years, we will be able to uncover the real you. That's why we want to understand who you are inside, right? So if you look at the cutoff, it tends to be high. Okay, so work hard for it. It's, very close, 97, 98 percentile. That's the kind of cutoff that exists. So, is it okay for pharmacy graduate to choose finance? We've got a whole bunch of engineers doing HR. So pharmacy, finance is okay. It's all what you like to do, okay? And what you truly find a calling in. And we help you to find that calling. We put you through certain psychometric instruments. We put you through counseling. We have alumni come and speak with you. People who are senior in those fields come and speak with you to try and understand what's the career prospects and whether it is something that really truly interests you. I'm glad to say that we've got a whole bunch of alumni that are in Bollywood, that are singers, that are in media, are journalists. We've got a very successful horse breeder. We've got a very we've got a bunch of people who've gotten into the civil services, IAS cadre. We've got at least more than 200 of SCMHRD alumni have started their own business, right? A good 50% of them are first generation entrepreneurs. So all kinds. I mean, what is it that you want to do? A management degree just enables you to do whatever job better. That's it. I mean, there is no limitation. The limitation is just what you put on yourself. We don't put any limitation. Sometimes I feel that I believe in my students more than they do. But I truly do. I've seen too many batches pass out, so I know what they're capable of. Just fabulous bunch of guys, girls, whatever.
We are having a flurry of questions here, but due to shortage of time, maybe we can combine it. And I think many people are trying to ask, what are the profiles for marketing and finance and those specializations? What can they aspire when they land into SCMHRD?
2 साल ढंग से पढ़ाई करो, the right kind of jobs will come to you. The kind of profiles that come to SCMHRD are among the best in the country, and will provide you enough and more opportunity. What to convert it is entirely your lookout. Yeah, what kind of profile? All kinds of profile. Everything. Obviously, there is a certain minimum benchmark in terms of the kind of work profiles you'll find, but it's the way it is.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, we'll bring the session to an end now. We will definitely take up all the questions that the aspirants have on the social media handles. We are happy to answer all their queries. And we are very much present on every social media platform. So on behalf of our college SCMHRD, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our respected director, Dr. Pratima Sheorey, who graced us with her presence and enlightened the students with her wise words. Lastly, we would also like to thank all the students who made this event possible by taking their precious time off their examinations preparations. We would like to wish you all for your upcoming exams and for your future endeavors. And we all definitely hope to see you all at SCMHRD campus. Thank you so much.
Best of luck. Take care. Stay safe. Follow COVID appropriate behavior. I hope all of you have taken your vaccination. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. And study hard, work hard. There are really no shortcuts there.
Thank you, ma'am. Our pleasure.
Yes.
And yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thanks. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.